The first thing you want to do when you start working on your design is understanding what you're allowed to build. I'm going to go ahead and freeze off the block numbers to start cleaning some of this up. I'm also going to freeze off the spot grades and the fence and the benchmarks and more spot grades, and just to get us to get a little bit clean, and I'm going to freeze off those. All right. Now that I have my area that I can build by, actually I'm going to freeze off the topo too and the elevations. All right, just to give me a clean start of what I can and cannot build. There are some rules that you have to follow in all of the land development code. Some codes have different rules. So we know from our project, let's say the development code said that we had to have a setback, that we couldn't build all the way to the property line, that we have to have at least a 25-foot setback from the right-of-way lines and a 50-foot setback from the property line. So I am going to draw a polyline, and let's go ahead and create a layer called setbacks. Let's clear that out. Create a layer called 0.fau.setbacks. I'm going to make this yellow, and I'm going to change this to hidden, or I'm going to do -2. And I'm going to make it current. I'm going to close that. Go polyline. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go offset, layer, C for current, and I'm going to do 25. Pick this line here and offset it in. Okay. Now I am going to break the line, B-R-E-A-K, excuse me, and I'm going to break it here, and I am going to break it here. All right, and I'm going to extend that, EX for extend, I'm going to extend that to there, and I'm going to extend it to there. Now, this line here, let's say I had to have 50 feet. So I'd already offset 25, so I'm going to offset another 25 to give me 50 along the rear property line. Now, what's the distance between this and this wetland? From here, perpendicular to here. Okay, I got 74 feet. Now, I can build a road on the back side of this if I want it. I only need 50 feet, okay? Also, this is building setback. So what I'm going to say, yeah, we'd have to look up at code. Well, I'll take that back. I take that back. We're only going to use a 25-foot setback in the front. There's no rear yard setbacks. And the reason I say that, the reason I change my mind, is because it's going to be the same land use. This is residential and this is residential. All right? But usually you have a front setback for some type of landscaping features. Now, you have two access points. You'll either build this road down to here for Tucker, or you're going to come in off of Deer Run, okay? Now, make sure when you come off a Deer Run, you do not hit into a power pole. Try to design your project away from the power pole. Now, you can lay out the houses, so if you bring it in, and I'm gonna just arbitrarily pick a point where I'm not hitting the power pole. Let's say I want it near the center, here, and I'm gonna go perpendicular to here, and then I'm gonna offset 50 feet to here. I could bring a road in through here and then meander this direction and then meander this direction and down in here to build houses. Now the distance between here and here, I just drew a line, is going to be 252 feet. Okay. Now, this might be one of those where a park is set or your pond is set. Okay. Ponds need to go at the lowest point of your site, and this is one of the lower points of your site. So what I would recommend doing is kind of figuring out where your pond needs to go. So I'm going to turn on lay on ISO, just LA, and I'm going to go contours, I'm going to unfreeze those. So this elevation is 74 and this elevation is 73. So right here is where I would put a pond. So if I had to draw, and I'm just going to do it schematically just for talking points. So you're going to put a pond somewhere in here. Okay. Now, so that tells you that your development is only going to be up in here. So let's say and I'm going to freeze the contours back off. And you can change the contour color also. I don't have a problem with that because this is kind of, the green is hard for me to visualize, so I'm going to turn it to 252 because it's not as important right now. Let's say I bring in, and I build lots up this way. Let's say our lots are 90 feet deep. And then offset that 50 foot for a right of way. Then we could basically use, because we know that we want houses that are aesthetic along the wetlands. We could use a road and a cul-de-sac here. There's a lot of different things that you can come up with. So a couple ideas would be, delete that. You could bring a road down through here. Something like this. Fillet radius 50 feet. Actually, I'm going to do fillet radius 100 feet. And these are just ideas. This is not what I expect you all to design. Here could be a single road, offset 25. And then you could build houses off of that. Maybe have a midpoint. Another road that comes off of here and has a 36 foot. Offset that 25 feet. I don't know why I'm having issues offsetting that. I'm going to put that on 0 elevation. I'm not sure why everything is being put onto a negative 74. I'm going to change all those elevations to zeros. It's giving me issues. Offset that 25 feet. It's a line, for goodness sake. I'm going to explode it. O for offset. 25. There we go. I have no idea why it did that. And then offset that one. So you can build a cul-de-sac and then you can build your houses around it. I mean, these are just ideas, all right? So we have to come up with the rules of how we're going to lay out this subdivision. So those are just my first blush ideas. I want you all, this is an individual assignment. There's no group projects this semester. So everybody's going to have the same site to work on, but everybody's going to lay out their project a bit different, okay? So You could, you know, put a park area here. You could put some type of amenities. I'll make a list of all the requirements that you'll need, and you'll see those in the assignment portion. All right, so you'll have setbacks that you're going to be required to have. You're going to have widths of lots you're going to be required to develop, right-of-way widths that are going to be required, number of lots that you're going to be required. So those will be in your assignment. But to get started, I'd like to see your all's first ideas of how to lay out a roadway. I would suggest tying in Tucker Avenue, and maybe you go ahead and build, you know, access, do an intersection over here, you know, so you're sharing an access point over here, but you'd have to get access easements from this property owner, or you build the road down here and just access the site this direction. Maybe put a road through the back of lots here and you tie it back in. That would actually probably be your most usefulness of your site. But we'll go ahead and have a minimum lot width and a minimum depth. All right, that's it for this video.